Better rock, better talk. Damn radio.
Damn straight. I am Samuel Trapp. This is International Flavor. You're listening to, as you just heard, Damn Radio. And I am here tonight with much to talk about, but as a technical issue, I need to see if there is someone using Discord. So I'd like him to say something if he's really on it, so I can see if the needle goes up, because I may have figured it out. I got to see if yep. Okay. Oh, that is cool. So anytime you wish to join, all I got to do is up the thing. Why don't we test that out just to make sure it works? And then how about saying something if you can hear me?
Hey, Sam.
Oh, yeah. Now say something again just because.
Something again just because.
Woohoo! Okay, well, that worked. Okay, I'll get back to you. Okay, that is my esteemed brother and colleague, Mr. Matthew Vaughn, Trapp, and we were going to chat about a couple of things that we didn't have an opportunity to go through earlier. But I wanted to talk a little bit today. I've had a lot on my mind. Yesterday, I got into a bit of a rant about the poor Ukrainian girl getting stabbed. Today, it's all the Charlie Kirk. I would feel it remiss if I didn't say something. I'm not one of those guys that sits around and cries all day or anything like that, but this is downright sad that our country has degenerated to where we are killing people just because we disagree with them, just because of virtue signaling, and nothing else. This is horrific. I am sickened, just downright sickened that this is where we are. There is zero love for your fellow man. There is zero live and let live, which is a very good motto, and whatever I'm doing, what difference does it make to you? What I am doing in my own tiny little pathetic life. What is it if someone else is doing something in their tiny little pathetic life? Because get this, in the big picture, we're all nothing. We're all worm food. And I don't mean to say people aren't important. We are. And people have those who love them. They have people that they care about, causes that they think. These are opinions, for God's sake. What in the world have we come to? And I spent way too much time on this last night. And Matt, since you're here with me, how about you toss something in there if you have anything to say? And I did want to let people know they can call in to the Lake Ozark Real Estate of the Art Studio at 573-746-8020 if they'd like to speak with either me or Matthew Vaughn, long as he's here. Yes, sir?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You are on the air.
Well, thank you. I like your comments. One of the things that have been thinking a lot about lately, and I think I want to zoom out before I talk too much about the assassination. But first, let me say it is a tragedy of epic proportions. And I'll tell everybody why I think that in just a little bit. But let me zoom out first and ask the question of the listeners out there. What does it take to build a bright future? I want you to think right now what a complete cluster we're in. We've got the...
That's a good word for it.
Right? We've got... Look at the cultural wars. Look at all of the stuff that's happening globally. Look at the complete upending of society. And I can't think of anybody on the left or the right that's happy about it. Now, the real question is, you're in this circumstance. How do you make it better? And I've said it before many times on my podcast and on this show here. What what does it take to make that bright future? Is it someone who's ignorant, who's immoral, and who is hateful that can make a bright future for society? Right? Is it that person that's going to be a fundamental building block of society? And when you look at the fruit they bear, it's death, it's hate, it's disruption, it's societal discord. Look at how many of us are talking about this.
Same as yesterday. Everybody talking about, some, and I don't like talking about it. I don't even like thinking about it. I don't like blood. I truthfully, I haven't even watched the video. I know all about it, and I've heard, and I saw JR earlier, and he was very descriptive on his show earlier in talking about some of the, or maybe it was later after he and I were talking. I don't remember when, but he was very descriptive when he was talking about the events that occurred. And I do not like those things. Like I said last night, I'm not a person who enjoys watching, even in a movie, that type of thing. I just don't like it. And are we that desensitized to it that it just doesn't matter? And we're waiting to the next, next time blow up, 500 people. This is nonsense.
Well, think about this. And a friend of mine was on, Facebook, and I was scrolling through different things, looking at their posts. And they said, "Hey, why is everybody making a big deal about this? Yes, it's bad, but what about this school shooting that happened, right?" And nobody's talking about the school shooting, and they had a bunch of likes on that. Well, I could take that a step further, and I could say we average around 16,500 car accidents per day in the United States, resulting in about 112 deaths per day. Right? Mm-hmm. So we kill around 5,500 people, if I'm not mistaken, every year in car accidents. And the reason this is different is because those are accidents. Those aren't someone deliberately trying to destroy the fabric of society. And so it goes back to that fundamental question. If you think there's a bright future ahead, what does that look like? Is it orderly? Are there good people there that are kind and respect you and treat you for who you are? I had a friend message me and say, "I'm trans, I'm pro-gun, and all these sort of things." Great, right? If that's how you want to live. I know that the left media is always saying, everybody's trying to stop you from being trans. Everybody's right? And it's
care.
Part of the
I don't care at all. Who wants to be trans? It doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah. Well, the bigger question is, if you see yourself in a bright future and it's orderly and it's peaceful and you are cared for and respected by the rest of society just because you're you, where does that come from? Does it come from teachings like this? Whoever taught this person, does it come from all the hate that we see? Does it come from the sorts of activities that are not being enforced by law? When we look at, and this is why it's so easy to pick on the Democrat Party right now, because you have the killing of that poor girl from Ukraine, and it's done by a black guy who's screaming racial slurs at her. Right?
Is that part true? I hadn't heard that part before.
Yes, that's true.
Wow.
And when you think about it, and she's got a Black Lives Matter flag in her apartment, right? So when you think about all this and you say, do we want a guy like that creating our future? Do we want a guy like that dragging our future down? Like, we're going to have to pay his prison time, right? It's like $40,000, $50,000 a year per inmate. That's something we want to pay for, right? Because this guy wants to go out and kill people. And so when we look at this and we see that we've got political assassinations on our hands, we've got people randomly being killed for being, whatever color, and we see the same sorts of discussions on both the left and the right. The question is, okay, so what? So what now?
Well, that's what I wonder. What now? Seriously, how do you fix something like this?
Well, my question is not even really the how; it's the who and the where. Right? What did we do to our schools? Right? We literally have no one in society, save for churches. What? I don't know. Who is teaching morality? Right? Who is teaching morality? Who is teaching the golden rule? I want to know, because our schools aren't, our parents aren't, our society isn't, the political parties, and I don't even consider the Democrat Party a political party anymore. They are a collection of ideologies that don't match with each other, just like what we were talking about with this Ukrainian girl. Okay, we've got Black Lives Matter mixed with an immigrant. Which one do they support? I don't know.
Well, and then how about the guy being allowed? I read an article earlier that said he was out on parole, and our sister called. My sister, or our sister Virginia, called. I was talking to her earlier, and she was going off on this on the phone. She's like, the world's just nuts, and I forget how she said, but she told me that the judge had said that. Something really stupid, like don't run over any fluffy bunnies or something like that to this guy when she let him go. I don't know where she got that information, but she said when the judge was letting him go, don't get in any trouble now. Here's a guy with felony bond, felony issues, repeated, and she's more concerned about looking, I don't know, judgely to the people instead of.
She's not an attorney. She's never been an attorney. She was appointed. Again, does the bright future that you want, does that come from someone who's ignorant or immoral? Does it come from a political party that ignores the law, or any politician for that matter? And when we look at everything that's happening by the Trump administration, right? When we think about the fact that the Democrat Party deployed National Guard troops against their own voters in Chicago a year ago because they couldn't trust them, right? They've got National Guard out there to protect Kamala Harris and everything else. But when Trump does it, and it was against their own people, demonstrators in Chicago, the whole area was shut down. And so why am I saying that? Because they do not have a common set of principles that they can go off of. And consequently, it's cultural wars. It's descending into chaos. It's complete nonsense, and there is no bright future that can come from that.
Well, I agree, but I suppose if I was to counter that, and not even counter, because I agree with you, but what I don't agree with is that the Democrats are alone. I don't see any Republican strength anywhere.
Trump is ex-Democrat, right? So is RFK.
Well, that's true.
Everybody in there is ex-Democrat. This is not Republican versus Democrat. This is a complete breakdown of the Democrat Party. They are looking themselves in the mirror between the JFK Democrats and themselves. The Republicans were lost a long time ago, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Literally, they're looking themselves in the mirror.
I gave up on them a long time ago. You served in the Army too, and I remember in the Army, a lot of people would go and just vote straight Republican. You know, you're supposed to. That's your duty as a military person. And you know, people would talk about it, but I was in, you know, I joined during Reagan. You know, you were a little later than that, but it was strong times. You know, Reagan was the collapse of Soviet. I mean, he forced them, he pushed them over the end. We were the biggest, baddest dog on the block, and since that time, it's been nothing but a joke. I felt pretty justified in some of the things we were doing then, but I remember. And I didn't go to war or anything like that. I was a lowly Russian interpreter, but people were going to war, and I remember, what in the flip are we fighting for in a country like that because somebody else has weapons of mass destruction? Look around you. You know, I'm on Fort Hood, Texas, the largest military base on the planet. You think we don't have weapons of mass destruction? And who are we to tell somebody else they're not allowed to have them? You know, and that's stupid. I mean, you know, but I think that way. I am so tired of do as I tell you to do, and I can do whatever the hell I want, by the way. And I want to make sure you're finished on that topic, but I got something I really want to discuss with you. And I didn't want to not talk about this horror story of a week we're having, and people are getting slaughtered like freaking livestock. You know, it's nonsense. And and it really makes me fear, and not much makes me fear for the future. But today we have several. You know, we've got the Polish and the Ukrainians massively pushing, along with most of Europe, to you know, push us into war. We want that World War III. Come on, bring it. You know, and they want it. It's the same sort of stupidity, but that's not what I wanted to talk to you about either.
Well, maybe just one final comment on this. He was a guy. So when you think about the type of society you want in the future, right? You've got to have families. And I want this as a reality check. Again, we accept you, we respect you for who you are, what you want to do. But a society cannot even have a future if it doesn't have families with children, right? We have a situation in the United States where our birth rates they're dropping dramatically, right? So it's the same problem as Japan, right? We're headed that direction. But where is it the most? Well, think about it. If you're in a trans family or a gay family or lesbian family or whatever, you are, even if you adopt kids or whatever, right? That's problem number one. Look at what Charlie Kirk did. He has a good relationship with a good woman. Right now, if you look online, it's hard for the young men to date, the straight men, right? Because the women in the United States, they don't know how to wife for the most part, right? They're looking for money and financial stability instead of love, a large part. And this is teachings of society. So this guy has conquered both of those. He has kids. He has a loving wife relationship. They're doing well. He's created a business. This is the third thing. He's getting dollars flowing in the economy on a bigger scale. He's providing a service that people want. And this goes to the fourth thing. He has a moral teaching that he's talking about. Hey, we need laws. We need order. We need order in our society. We need it in our streets. We need it in our government, right? And this brings us to the fifth thing, education, right? Again, I said you cannot have a bright future if you have ignorant, hateful, immoral people that are leading the way. And he checked the box of what we want in society. And he was killed by a hateful person who was drinking the Kool-Aid of an ideology that we already know is morally bankrupt. If you look at all the boxes that Charlie checked, everything on the opposite side is everything the Democrat ideology supports. Complete opposite. And that's where I wanted to go with that, because there's no way to have that bright future that even a lot of the Democrats, I know they want it, but you can't get it. You can't get it by creating it this way. It's not going to work.
Well, that's well said. And I don't know. I'm sorry to rush you on that thought process. And if you have anything else you want to say on that, you let me know, because I think I've said all I want to say. I'm so tired of seeing it.
I have a video if you want to hear it.
Well, sure.
It's a pivot. It's a pivot, but it kind of goes along that topic, because I think you're going to probably talk about Poland next, right?
I'm going to tonight, but I got one in between there. And if you're,
okay.
And I want to ask you specifically about this one. I don't know why, but I know why, but we'll get into that in just a minute. Go ahead. I'd love to hear the clip.
Let's play the video, and you tell me what you think. This is Patrick Bet David going on he's one of these Jubilee guests, right?
Yeah.
And he's debating a guy. Now, he's debating a guy about welfare, but there's a lot more here based on the things that I just talked about. Let me play it, and then we'll talk about it.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Those are the inalienable rights. We shouldn't have to earn those rights. We shouldn't have to earn the right to health care, to earn the right. No, we just want to live, exist. We can't work our blood, sweat, and tears just to survive. That's a horrible dystopian world that we live in right now.
Then what do you think we're here for? To just sit around and play video games?
We're here.
What do you think we're here for? To sit around and watch TV shows?
We're here
to sit around and watch cat videos?
We are here to create a prosperous community, to lift every.
Wait a minute. There's a lot in there, right?
Yeah.
The liberal guy is the one saying, why do we have to work for healthcare? Why do we have to work for all these things? And Patrick Bet David is like, what do you think we're here for? To watch cat videos and play video games?
Yeah.
And the liberal guy comes back and he says, we want a prosperous community. Now, how is that prosperous community created? Is it created by people sitting around watching cat videos? No. Is it created by people who just want welfare? No. Again, it goes back to this whole thing of how do you create this future? And I want to point out one more thing with the liberal ideology here.
Create a prosperous community. How do you create a prosperous community? Matter of fact, for you, how have you positively impacted a community?
I guess volunteering, food banks.
Volunteering food. I appreciate you for doing that.
Wait a minute. He volunteered at food banks, homeless shelters, that kind of thing. The literal epitome of a failed society is the fact that people are just in that state of lack of prosperous. In other words, he's already saying that the prosperous community wasn't created by the previous ideologies. Okay, now watch this question.
Have you created jobs for others?
Created jobs? No, I wouldn't say.
Why have you not?
I haven't had the ability to do so.
Do you think it's easy or do you think it's hard?
To create jobs is probably hard, yeah.
Okay, so the people that create jobs, you think they should have a little bit of incentive for having to risk their life savings, spend time away their families to create jobs so somebody like you can work for that company?
Sure, but that
is the incentive.
And bravo for them, but that does not give them the right to pay themselves $2 million bonuses while their workers are scraping by at like $10.
You don't get to choose how much money I choose to make. That's not your business. That's my business.
Okay. So if we break down the liberal ideology, it's do whatever you want and still get the amazing results that you expect.
That's right.
Right. That sounds like my diet, right? I'm shoving pizza down my throat and I'm like, man, I should be losing weight any day now.
Well, it depends on the really pizza, Matt. It's the pizza's fault, not yours.
And so, I mean, of course, Patrick Bet-David is talking about the money, but I want to go back. Look at what Charlie Kirk gave to society, right? The freedom, the peace that comes from people who give it to others. Right? The guy who took his life is not giving freedoms to others. He's destroying freedom. The ideology that drives both of those is completely different. And that's why I said on my Facebook post that the Democrat Party no longer exists. It's now just an ideology. It's just a collection of ideologies that destroy society, that destroy peace, that destroy happiness. And thank heavens these guys are not in charge.
Yeah, but they will be again. And when something JR said something to me today, and I hate to rat him out, but he said, and he says it all the time, so I don't mean that. He says, and I believe I've heard you say something similar, that we are on the cusp of some fantastic and great times ahead. Things are changing. Things are going to get better. Well, I'm telling you, and this is me, and maybe I'm a doubting Samuel, but it's I don't see it. And this bright future, things got to get worse before they get better. I don't necessarily believe in that kind of thing. Things are pretty stinking bad already. What is there to change the future of the souls of our children? Because I believe the outnumbering has already occurred. That we are seriously outnumbered, outgunned, outmatched, outfinanced, out everything for the other sides. These evildoers are way ahead of us.
The sad news is, and I talked about this Sunday night on the Power of Truth podcast, we can blame the Democrats all we want. Blaming does not create a wonderful society. Like, we're not going to somehow, okay, we've blamed you, now society is going to be great.
Well, but we're not going to change them either.
Right. Well, that's why you have to learn to work together, and you have to give them the respect that you want, not what they want, what you want. That's where the golden rule comes in. That's where morality comes in.
Well, but using Charlie Kirk as an example, he was always that way, always. And what did he get?
Oh, there were people. I watched some of the shows previously where people would come up to the microphone and say, "I wish I had a gun right now." Right? Oh. Have you heard? Well, go ahead with your question, and then I want to get to this. I want to share the Tom Holland video with you at some point.
Okay, I'm not against that. I'm very much interested in impressions of a person like you. You, like me, are well traveled. You, like me, lived in the Middle East, in the bombing in Qatar is what I wanted to talk to you about, and what I went off on it a little bit earlier or last night or sometime. Who I was yelling about it to somebody, who knows? But the blatant double standard of bombing another country. By the way, just we're gonna bomb another country and we don't need permission. There is no international law that applies, and nobody, and we damn well know it, nobody is gonna do a damn thing about it. A damn radio, right? A damn thing about it. They're just not going to. Why? Because I'm Benjamin Netanyahu, and I happen to be in the only country on the planet that can blatantly, willfully, wantonly do whatever it wants, whenever it wants, and people might condemn, they might complain, they might even bitch about it. They might even have an ICC warrant sent, but nobody will ever enforce it. And no, ever will the United States say something against this sort of behavior. Now, I don't judge good or bad based on whatever it is. It's kind of the same thing that you were just talking about and trying to say that, well, give the same sort of respect to others that you would like to have. Well, Israel sure as hell doesn't. And nor do they have to, because nobody will stand up to them ever. I'd like your commentary on that.
And
I appreciate your point of view.
I think it's worse than that. I'm going to reflect for a moment on something that I see as this is not a one-off. This is a pattern, not just with Israel.
Absolutely.
Right. When you think about the folks that I think they met their end yesterday, the Hamas leaders.
Some of them, but allegedly the big one got away.
Did the big one get away?
That's what they were saying on the news earlier. Hey, Matt, we have a caller. Why don't we take him just because?
All right.
I'm going to see if I can figure this out. I've never had to do it in studio. So hang on one second. Let's make sure we got it.
Yeah.
Are you with me, caller?
I am.
Holy shmikeys, I've done it correctly. I'm speaking with you, and my brother Matthew Vaughn is on the line with us as well.
Matthew Vaughn, Trapp from Chicago, or in Chicago.
That is the man.
And are you with us here at the Lake of the Ozarks Dam studio?
I am, but Matthew is remoted in.
Yeah, Matthew up in. So my brother-in-law, or not my brother-in-law, my son-in-law's brother lives in Chicago, and he thinks everything's fine and dandy. What do you think, Matthew Von Trapp? What is it like in Chicago?
Well, I will tell you this. I lived downtown in South Loop, right in the downtown area of Chicago. And the violence is crazy. Like, people don't realize just how bad it is. And I talked obviously to a lot of the locals, and they're used to it. It's like the person who drives the crappy car that is always breaking down, and they're like, oh, that's no problem. I just have to duct tape this and wire that, and I'm good to go. And, of course, I have to be careful not to, fall through the floorboard. And that's what it's like down there. Think about this. The shootings that happen are different now. And this is what it's like. It used to be like robberies and gang violence. A lot of the shootings now, like you're standing outside of the Hilton Hotel and you're in town for a conference and you're there just waiting for somebody or waiting for a taxi, and somebody walks by and shoots you and keeps walking. There's no robbery. There's no point to it. They just wanted to shoot. Right? There's a street.
What color are they? What skin color does the shooter have?
Predominantly, we see that the majority of this violence is perpetrated by African Americans, right?
Black.
Yeah, it doesn't
Black
mean that
lives matter.
Well, and I hesitated even going there because the real challenges, and this goes back to what I was saying about how do you create a prosperous society? When you think about the way that the blacks have been disenfranchised completely, they've got 4 generations of people on welfare. There's now think about this, right? Well, I'm going to a different place than that. I'm saying that we already established that it takes a bright mind and bright and nice morals to create a wonderful future. Where's that bright mind and morals coming from on South Side of Chicago? Like, who's giving that to that community? Right? Where's the mechanism of society? Now, when we talk about what the Democrat Party has been promising them for 50 years, they've been promising them money and quote unquote equality and all these sort of things. What does that give you when you're sitting at home watching rap videos and, you know, getting free stuff? You get nothing. Yeah, you have nothing to add to society.
The CIA
except for mission.
And the FBI and the deep state and the MK Ultra and all these people, they designed it. It's been designed, Matthew, and I'm sure you know it. If you don't know it, well, let me just give you a couple of sentences of information. Cloward and Piven in the 1960s by design wanted to crush the spirit of America and bring up the generations, not one, but multiple generations of defunct, disillusioned, uneducated, miseducated, brainwashed individuals. They did that on purpose. And you know who they were? They were the white Democrats, man. The old wineskin white Democrats. This is not a black movement, man. This is not about black and white. This is not about left and right. This is about the disgusting. Oh, Samuel, I'm doing my best not to use vile language, but these freaking
thank you
control freak creeps, these whiteys, they're white. They're white as the driven snow. They're white racist pigs that are trying to push this racial disparity on us. And those are the creeps. Those are the freaks. Those are the fags. Those are the fairies that need to be exposed and dealt with in the court of public opinion. And so I'm in Kansas City right now, and I walk the dogs. I take my granddaughter for walks, and you know how many houses I pass by that have Ukrainian flags in front of them and have the Black Lives Matters flags in front of them, and science is real and love is love and all that shit with the fucking the goddamn
You're losing it.
the rainbow flags, man. They are the problem. Do they have that issue in Russia, Sam? No, they don't.
Well, I don't know if you heard any of my shows, or they do not. But I don't know if you heard any of my shows while I was in Lithuania, and they do have not with blacks, but certainly with the Ukrainian flag, and I had some interesting experiences in that. But I don't know. I appreciate you calling in. Did you and Matt? Did you respond to his latest?
What I was going to say is I understand your anger, right? And the only comment I will say is that, yes, I understand it completely. The flip side of that coin is, where do we go from here? Because if I were to look holistically, and I want to play you a video. This is Barack Obama just about 7 or 8 months ago, right? Mm-hmm. When he was at the technical conference at Stanford, trying to encourage young techies to adopt policies of censorship and help things get better that way. Now, when you think about the ideologies that are coming from these people, now here's what he said about destroying a country.
You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won. You just have to flood a.
All right. So if that indeed,
and that's from the same bathhouse faggot that says that Black Lives Matter. And that's from the same bathhouse creep that says that Muslims should overrun the United States. That's from the same insurrectionist that created the entire Russia hoax. That dude is a traitor, and that dude needs to be hung by the neck in public for all to see. He's a traitor. He's a liar. He's a no good. He's not good for humanity of any sort.
Oh, okay. Well, let me counter that just a little bit. If you do that, okay, let's say you get what you want, and then that occurs. What happens then? Is that the end? Now, so is the reason to do that just because he's a bad actor, a bad influencer, or is the reason to do that to punish and to show the rest of the world that such behavior isn't tolerated? I'd like.
That's right.
I don't.
That's deterrence. What we need to do is deter that type of activity on U.S. soil. That is what we call deterrence. That's why we have capital punishment. That's why we have life sentences. That's why we have, the death sentence. We have that for a reason, and that's to deter other ne'er-do-wells and other people that think they can, do that insurrectionist activity in the United States. We're not going to tolerate that. We're going to cut the head off the snake, and that's the problem. We've been kissing the snake's ass for too long, man. I'm just saying, the snakes are snakes, just like Donald Trump says in his poem about the snakes. They're snakes. They're going to bite you, and they're going to poison you. The only way you can deal with them is to eradicate them, get rid of them, no longer let them be a part of your civil society. I'm just saying.
Well, you bring up some good points, and the only thing I would point out is if I look at what former President Obama said, he is saying you just have to dump enough sewage into the society. Now, I want you to think about what I said earlier with the Democrat Party. They are a collection of ideologies that don't make sense together because they can't now defend the comparison. Like they can't defend feminism together with this transgender ideology because now a man can just put on a dress and he is a woman, and now we have to take away the women's rights. So they don't mix together. The Black Lives Matter don't mix with the immigration, right? Because even if they're not killing each other, they're sucking up all of the resources from Black lives to go to the immigrants, right? And that's causing a stir here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have a very big Ukraine policy or Ukraine.
We got to look for answers, fellas. What we have to do between me, you, JR, Ike, the Paulie, and all the people on Damn Radio, which is what a wonderful venue that is for this free speech. What do we do, man? What are the answers? We need to stop being so reactionary and start trying to be a little bit proactive, and I don't mean with bullets and bombs. I do not mean that at all. And I not, not with swords, but with words and with actions so I heard this earlier today. I don't know exactly which program it was on, but maybe it was Alex Jones, InfoWars or something, Stuart Rhodes, the Oath Keepers. Instead of incarcerating these young black men that are doing petty robberies and drug dealing, we need to put them on a ship in the middle of the ocean, on a naval, frigate or a aircraft carrier, and remove them from this ridiculous society, put them in jail, and just continue to rehash the situation. We need to make them Marines. We need to make these young, fighting, vile, strong black men fighters for the beauty of freedom of speech and the the Second Amendment and stuff like that. We need to stop putting them in jail where they just keep doing their drugs and having gay sex and then go back out in the public and rape little girls and stab girls in the neck. We need to use this as an opportunity.
That was pretty popular to be done years and years ago, and I'm not sure it's done as much anymore, but it used to be that a person that got in trouble for whatever they did on the civil side could be saved, as it were, by being sent to boot camp. And I don't mean the boot camp that they talk about here local, geez, we got a boot camp program. No. Those are generally worthless. But real boot camp, sending them to the Marines. I tell you what, you have a sentence that's coming up for 3 years, you're going to go to prison. But if you do 4 years in the Marine Corps, you'll come out with a skill, a trade, a brotherhood, a backbone, something, and you will learn how to be part of a society. Now, I don't know
who do we have to blame for that. You know who we? And I'm sorry, Sam and Matt. I'm gonna stop walking on your toes. I just have one final thing to say. Sure. The people we have to blame for that is the administrative state, the bureaucrats. Those are the enemies within. Those are the ones that have to be identified and eradicated, humiliated out of their public office.
Well, I'm with you on that.
Out of their, huh?
I say I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
we could humiliate them.
If you're with me on it, and Matthew's with me on it, and Ike's with me on it, and JR's with me on it, and who knows how many else people are with me on it. The only ones that aren't on it are the ones that are in on it, bro. And there's not that many of them. They are so few, but they have such a big voice because of the Smith-Mundt Act reenacted by that lefty little queer half-breed Barack Hussein Obama. Man, we got to stand up to this shit. We can't let these crannies and these leftists and these freaks that are supporting that little creep in Ukraine, that little needle dick dictator.
Do you know you can't call him the Green Goblin anymore? I was listening to one of my guys, the guy got they call him the Green Goblin. He goes, he was having a dilemma in one of his shows the other day. He's like, well, I can't call him the Green Goblin. I'm not sure what to call him anymore because now, after somebody told him not to come see Donald Trump again without wearing at least a suit jacket or something. Now he's wearing all black. He's not wearing it. You haven't seen him in any green since then. He's now in black and generally puts on a suit coat, but he still hasn't put on a tie. And
how about calling him a needle dictator? That's what he is. He's a little nothing. He and his cronies have single-handedly eradicated democracy in Ukraine. I mean, and that's
but it didn't exist. Well, it did, but marginally, and now it's just a horror story. And I lecture on that pretty often.
So anyway, Sam, Matt, thanks for letting me chime in, guys.
Hey, no problem. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you later.
Mm-hmm. And there he goes is how you're supposed to end that when they're gone. And there he goes. So there you have it.
One of the things that I think strikes me the most, and obviously you could tell that he was pretty upset about a lot of this stuff. One of the things that strikes me the most about all of this is the amount of nonstop cultural wars and this is true of the Democrat Party, that they've been igniting, which makes me go back to what Obama said, right? When you go back to the 60s and they dropped in the sexual revolution, then they dropped in feminism, then they dropped in, right, in the 90s, kids should be able to divorce their parents. Then they dropped in the 2000s gay marriage. Then they added all the LGBTQ plus. Then they added a lot of the free speech, like infringements and things like this. You're not allowed to talk about these things. And then they started with the MAP, M-A-P, minor attracted persons.
Yeah, that is disgusting. Yeah.
When we think about the mechanism the Democrat Party has been using. It's always to go with shock and awe of something that totally goes against societal norms. And instead of introducing it out of respect, like, hey, look, we've got some situations here where we've got some people that are gay. Is there something we can do in society where they just, they're not, ostracized? Instead, it's like immediately when they pop out of nowhere with explosive comments. And the first comment is the right. They hate these people. They're trying to take away their rights. They're trying to do this and that and the other.
Yeah. And
when they've paid off the media, and when they've paid off all of Hollywood and the music industry, etc., it leads to this situation where the people that are on the right are like, wait a minute, I don't care what you do in your bedroom. I don't care what you do there, but why am I being treated this way? And it leads to this type of cultural war. I need to let you go, but I want to play this video by Tom McDonald. It's like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
go ahead.
By the way, I am not into rap, but this is an excellent video. And if you go onto YouTube and you watch people reacting to it, the first thing they do in like the first 10 seconds is they stop and go, what? Holy cow, like this guy is speaking the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me play this video. Let's see.
Is it going to be an answer to my question on Netanyahu?
What?
I said, is it an answer to my question about Netanyahu?
It will be. Hang on.
Okay.
This is the last thing on the cultural wars.
Okay.
Propaganda is on every channel. They think we stupid like the truth is just too hard to handle. Put on your camo, it's a culture war and load the ammo. They want Antifa ruling everything like it's Seattle. And they want anyone who's fighting to be dead and canceled. They want rainbows in the classrooms and 15 different bathrooms and white guys that hate black dudes. They want war, they don't want peace. They want fentanyl in our streets. They want borders to be weak. I swear the devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a devil. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. The devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just felt us different. They get celebrities to do they talking. They get mansions while they cram us all into apartments. Tell us it's cool to stay in school and then make you retarded. If you ain't liberal, then they treat you like you human garbage. If you speak up, then you a target. They want their voice to an amplifier. Violence and our flag on fire. No voter ID required. They want war, they don't want peace. They want defund the police. They want you surrounded by screens. The devil lives in California. He a politician. He passing bills that bring chaos and division. Yeah, the devil lives in California. Should be in prison. He got horns, but he tries to keep them hidden. Cause the devil is a devil. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. The devil is a Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just felt us different, dog. The devil is a Democrat. That's a fact. That's the truth. Look how bad that it gets when it's blue. The devil is a Democrat. That's a rap, it ain't news, and the way they treat America is proof. I swear the devil lives in California, $100 bills. He knows everyone at Hollywood and parties in the hills. Give you everything you ever wanted, plus a couple mil for your soul, and your vote is a deal. Cause the devil is a Democrat, and we don't play that. They say that. They love America, we know it ain't that. The devil is a Democrat, and we ain't with it, we ain't switching. Y'all are tripping, I guess God just felt us different, dog. The devil is a Democrat. And we don't play that. They say that. They love America. We know it ain't that. The devil is the Democrat. And we ain't with it. We ain't switching. Y'all are tripping. I guess God just built us different, dog. The devil is a Democrat.
Now, could you ever get a video, a song like that? And it's been #1 on the charts, beating out the top artists for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Is that true? I've never heard that before.
That's absolutely true.
Wow.
And you know what he said? He said, I can't be canceled because I own my own equipment, own my own studio. I'm not a part of anything. And he's been calling out other like rappers and R&B artists and everything for a while. and they can't stop him. And this is what happens when, and again, I go back to what Charlie Kirk was doing. He didn't care. I'm actually surprised. I'm worried about, Tom McDonald's, safety as well, because anytime you go against this machine that has obviously been set up by very big players, if you got guys like Barack Obama still out there talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what free speech gets you. And free speech is obviously protected by the Second Amendment, which is why they work so hard to destroy those. So I'm going to leave it at that. And, just say that I think one of the best things we can do in honor of Charlie Kirk and what he was talking about is have the same courage that he did. It may take a little bit to develop. I'm not going to lie.
Mm.
But to be on a public forum, right? I'm not saying we have to use the kind of colorful language that was on the program just previously, but I am saying to speak the truth and to act morally is what we've been wanting from our government. It's what we've been wanting from our neighbors. It's what we've been wanting from the media. And if we want it in society in the future, we are going to have to start doing that.
Well, you have to accept you don't have to accept other people's opinions. I don't mean it that way, but you have to understand that other people have their other opinions. And an opinion is do you know, when I was in law school, there was a group of us that were good friends, like 6, 7 of us. And one of them was worked for Texas Utilities, a very, very good friend of mine, and he was in their corporate acquisitions department. And he came up with a gift that we all went together and bought. We were at the Texas Wesleyan University School of Law, now Texas A&M, and it was a big glass piece of that was in the shape of Texas, about an inch thick, and on the bottom a little base, and we each signed the base, and it was etched in glass. And sadly, during a move, I broke mine. I still have it, but I have to figure out how to weld glass back together. Something. Anyway, the only reason I bring it up is because it's about words, and even lawyers aren't really. Lawyers aren't all bad. You know what I mean? I rail about the system a lot because the system is corrupt and garbage in a lot of respects. But Bill, my friend, came up with, and he didn't come up with it. It was by Emerson, I believe. And it was, and I really hope I think it was Emerson. But I still remember it, the very big gist of it, and it's like a word is not a crystal, constant and unchanged. It is the skin of a living thought and varies dramatically based upon, depending upon the time and circumstances in which it is used. And that was etched into there as well. Now, I may not have gotten the exact quote right, but I remember that. Geez, I graduated law school in 2000, and that was a very big thing. And basically, if you think about the way that is, people have varying perspectives, and they go all the way down to the word. Everything is about communication. Everything. How you communicate, what you communicate, with whom you communicate, all of those things. And, the caller made a very good statement about what goes on damn radio. You made a statement about the rapper who, I don't like rap either. I must admit to having liked a little bit of Eminem years ago, especially during that 8 Mile phase. I thought that was kind of cool. But You brought it up. That guy can't be touched because he has his own platform. Well, thanks to JR, the founder of the Feast at Damn Radio, we have one too. And we can be blocked on the internet. We can be, what do you call it? Taken down a little bit. But you know what? This is our platform, our voice, and maybe it means quite a lot. I mean, I know it does, or I wouldn't be doing it. It's not like we're making $1 million, a year doing this, or anything for that matter. But at the same time, I do this because I enjoy it, and I'm actually getting better at it, when I go back and listen to some of my crap shows from a year and a half ago. But these are this. We provide a different voice. You know what I mean? And I'm very glad you joined me today, and I thank you very much for that. But I still don't think I got the answer to my Netanyahu question.
Well, and I think where I was going with that, and I took the dipstick approach and went deep instead of broad. But if you look at what's happening, okay, the guys that were in Qatar, they're the top leadership of Hamas.
Mm-hmm.
They stole billions, not millions, billions from the people in aid money. They are parked in Qatar in luxury while their people have been utterly wasted by the ideologies they promoted. Now, the reason I went into the bright future, and then I talked about the culture wars, and then I talked about what Obama was saying about destroying societies and all of these things, is because they literally promoted these ideologies that kids that are 5 years older have coloring books that show guns and how to shoot the Israelis. Now,
Matt, but that's not what I'm asking. I understand a lot of those things.
Promise.
But does it justify?
It's a long way to get there. I'm telling you about human nature, not justification. Because when you go right, because I want you to think about the ideology of hate.
Mm.
It's the ideology of hate. The ideology of hate that killed the girl on the bus. The ideology of hate that killed Charlie Kirk today.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go back to the ideology of hate promoted by Hamas. So they're there. They go out in trucks. They're killing people indiscriminately. They're burning babies in their beds. They're raping women, chopping off heads of people in front of their children, and all these other things, right? That hate that they sent out was returned to them 1,000-fold. Their entire city is wasted, right? And now when we look at the people at the top and we say, what are the Qataris doing? Okay, are they protecting Hamas? You have to ask, what was Trump's logic in notifying Qatar that Israel was coming? I mean, you know where Al Udeid is. Yeah. It's right out on Salwa Road.
Yeah.
Right? Just outside of Doha. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That radar system, obviously we knew the Israelis notified us, and we notified through diplomatic channels the Qatar. And why? The caller was talking about cutting the head off the snake. Why didn't Trump do it? He got al-Baghdadi, was happy about that, right? So let's talk about the morality.
Yeah, but
of
it's been a denial from the White House that they called and warned. What's the point of that? You're saying because he got a free plane?
No, I'm saying that. By the way, let me jump back to the ideology of hate.
Mm.
That ideology of hate has come back to the people.
Yeah, but Netanyahu's got it too. That's my problem. The ideology of hate is on both sides here.
Yep. That's why I'm showing that when you start a fire like that, you really think that the Israelis are going to put it out. Now, I want to go back to what happened today to Charlie Kirk. The first reaction after sorrow is anger that people feel.
Yeah.
And they want action. You heard it from the caller. They want action. But the question is, what will more hate do? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it'll cause more hate. Will make you bomb another country. That the country. Now, do whatever you're going to do, but don't tell me that Israel is not in a position to send their famed special forces people into Qatar in disguises and note that something is going to go on politically. Maybe Qatar will do it, maybe elsewhere, but scare those guys out and do it somewhere else. Instead, we risk escalation into another country, because remember, I complained. Well, I don't know if you listen to all my shows. I know you listen quite a bit, but I said the same thing when Israel decided. Nobody condemns them ever. If they want to go into the Golan Heights, great. Guess what? We're going in. Nobody says a word. If we're going to go into Syria, no problem. Go right ahead. Go destroy whoever you're going to go destroy over there. And, by the way, we'll back you up. We'll come in and we'll bomb the hell out of Iran right there with you. And then claim that we stopped the war. And so these...
Who's going to do that?
I'm sorry?
Like, who has the moral and who has the moral capability to do the right thing? I want you to think about this because, okay, so they went in and bombed not indiscriminately. They bombed and they wanted people to know. As you said, they had a choice. They could have slipped a couple of guys in and they could have slit their throats in the night. They didn't. Right? And the reason is because they want Qatar to know this is what you get. Just like we wanted Iran to know, this is what you get. And this is what what Poland did today to Russia. This is what you get. And this is what Russia did today and yesterday to Ukraine. This is what you get. And this is what everybody's now doing to each other.
Yeah, well.
Right? This is how world wars spread. It's by these little incursions, these little things, these little slaps on the face. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you have a weakened United States where we're in the middle of cultural wars and we've got everybody everywhere lighting fires like this, we're in a precarious situation.
No doubt.
Right? Because hate's not going to solve it. And don't get me wrong.
But that's all that's being used. That's all that's being used. I mean, exactly. Trump isn't ending anything. Well, that's the point. Is that, where is this going to go? Well, where can it go, Matt? Because my argument has been all along that the way you end the Ukraine incursions, war, whatever the hell you want to call it, is abandon them. They have nothing for us over there. We shouldn't be involved in European wars that have been going on 1,000 years anyway. And I feel strongly about that. And so the only way to end it is you got two choices. One, abandon them. Two, go all in and send our soldiers over there, which would be foolish and stupid, and join in with the idiots in Lithuania that won't allow you to say a Russian word, that we continue to hate all things Russian, and they are the bad. China's the bad. India is now the bad. Brazil is bad. South Africa's bad. These are all bad actors, according to the genius of Besant, an economics guy.
At the end of the day,
I hate to complain so much, Matt. I really do, because all I see is escalation. And where in the hell are our words? Where are our diplomats? We have none. America has no diplomats.
That's a bigger problem. Like, look at the rising generation that uses memes. And they use harsh words for everything, like baby snakes, right? We always talk about baby snake. A little baby snake, they don't know how to mete out their venom, right? Like the older snakes do. So consequently, everything is an attempted death blow.
It's all drama,
right?
Yeah.
when you look at, again, who is teaching morality, who's teaching diplomacy, who is teaching education, right? You got plenty of time in society to talk about how you could be trans or whatever, and all the injustices of the world, but you can't get people educated on how to be kind, how to serve, how to give, how to be a good neighbor. Like, it's a miracle we are where we are. So when we talk about all of these problems, the bigger issue here is, how do we come back if we are not that people that have the skills to knowledge, skills, attributes, and experience. Those are the things that it takes. We have none.
I agree.
So I know I've taken up a lot of your time. I really do appreciate you having me on tonight.
No, absolutely no problem. I like having chats with you anyway. You're very well versed. On your topic that you just brought up, there's a story out, and I had started last night. I went back and looked at it. You know, if you got to go, you can, go ahead and go. But because I'm going to keep talking on this topic, and it just seemed so interesting that it came.
I can spend 5 more minutes with you if you want.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to give you. I watched in Russian an appearance. Sergei Lavrov, the chief diplomat on the planet, has been in his position as the Secretary of State equivalent in Russia for 25 years. And he gave a speech to the graduating class of MGIMO, Moscow State Institute of International Relationships. You were talking a few minutes ago, it just happened to fall in the lap here, who's teaching diplomacy, who's teaching people how to act. Well, I did a bit of a comparison because I was trying to find some equivalents of this school, which is a Russian school. This is the next generation of their diplomatic corps, and it's the best, one of the best in the world. And it was founded in 1944 during the Second World War, when Soviet leadership decided it needed a specialized school to train professional diplomats and international specialists. It was placed under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, ensures a direct pipeline between education and state service. So this is where their pool comes from. They are known as the Harvard of Russia for diplomacy and international affairs, famous for its rigorous language training. Students graduate fluent in 2 to 3 languages. It has consistently ranked as Russia's most elite institution for international relations, law, economics, and journalism. The programs cover diplomacy, political science, law, international economics, journalism, energy policy, and special area studies. So what I did was, and they've had 5,000 graduates, more than, have become ambassadors, ministers, senior officials. Famous alumni: Sergei Lavrov, current Russian foreign minister; Vitaly Churkin, former Russian ambassador to the UN; Igor Ivanov, former foreign minister; dozens of current ambassadors and diplomats posted worldwide. And it's a global hub. They train people from other countries, too, that come in. And so I said that I think we need to use our words and all of those things. I'm trying to find a close U.S. comparison. So I went out and I did a bit of a search. And here's what it comes up with, right? The Georgetown University Walsh School of Foreign Service. Now, these are all private. I don't believe there's a government sort of equivalent. And I don't know. I would like to see more. The world's a big place, and the world's a scary place. And if we're going to stay engaged and involved, it's not going to be. I mean, I'm embarrassed at what we've done over the last 30 years at least since I had a diplomatic passport. It's been embarrassing what America has, quote, accomplished, on the global stage, because there isn't much to be proud of. I mean, I suppose I could be convinced otherwise, but I don't see it, and so I don't know. I was wondering your thoughts on that. I did want you to hear that. I just thought it was interesting that you went right into one of the topics I was talking about. John Hopkins is another one. The Harvard Kennedy School is the third. And there's another one called the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy, which is the oldest U.S. graduate-only school dedicated to international relations. And it's...
Well, the bigger question is, if I set up a school like that, who is teaching what? And how is it absorbed? And then how is it applied?
Mm-hmm.
We could have all the schools in the world, but if an administration comes in, like the Obamas, and they send Biden over to Ukraine.
Oh, Jesus. Don't get me started.
He starts pushing weapons in and making money on the side, him and the Romneys and the Pelosi's. And all their kids are over there serving on boards. And they're making money hand over fist. And at the same time,
and they still are.
They're poking the bear. They're poking the bear the entire time.
Yeah.
Right. So where was the Kennedy School then? Where were all these other diplomat places other than to cover up the lie of it? Right. As the caller pointed out, there's Ukrainian flags flying together with Black Lives Matter flags, two of the biggest weird ideologies that you can ever imagine. We've caused a war that's resulted in the deaths of about 1.4 million people. And we've got people flying flags of a country that's completely decimated by it. And I've been to Ukraine multiple times. Those people are trashed.
Mm-hmm.
For what? Right? They violated their treaty with Russia. And again, it goes back to hate. You spread the hate, you do this stuff, and you are going to suffer. And this type of suffering, this is nothing to the elite. The 200,000 people that died in Iraq, thanks to Bush's lies, nothing. The people that died in the Middle East, thanks to Obama's policies and the complete decimation of Syria, nothing. They don't care. They are getting something accomplished. They want something accomplished. They want this world order, and they're fighting for it now.
Yeah.
And the world order they're fighting for, I'm not so certain that Trump is going to be able to stop it.
I'm not so certain that you might not like this. I'm not so certain that he's not one of them. But
I mean, that remains to be seen, right?
But trying to override it and take it over because, he was offended by Hillary Clinton years ago. And I don't really believe that, but I'm saying, it's like what you said. I don't believe anything anymore. I don't believe a damn thing I see on the television. I don't believe a word out of a politician's mouth. That
means that Obama was successful.
Well, I'd like to, but I'm like I said, I'm a doubting Samuel. I am going to go read several things before I formulate an opinion. And most of the time, even my opinion is just more of a spitballing idea and going, well, have you thought about it from this point of view? That like they teach you in law school, which is really sad because in law school, remember, there are no correct answers. It's all about the argument. That's the Socratic method, Matt. You go in and you say, well, what if we did X? Well, have you considered blah? You're not answering a question. You're not answering right or wrong. When they give you a book on contracts, they talk about offer and acceptance, but offer and acceptance are all shadowy terms based on when and who and how they are interpreted, like in my little plaque I was telling you about.
Well, and I would say, and then I've got to jump off this call, but
we're done anyway. I got like 10 minutes left of the show.
Yeah. I would say to to just simply say, okay, where do we go from here? At the end of the day, you have to live by the golden rule. Give to others their freedom, the freedom to be who they're going to be. Don't tread on their rights, their way of living, and make it so that they can speak freely about it. That I speak that to both sides of this argument, because with kindness, with compassion, which the Democrat Party used to be all about that. And when it became a party or an ideology of hate and this stirring the pot all the time, it really, that's why we have people that jumped, like, RFK and Trump and everybody else, right? Elon Musk. So in order to solve this, we have to get back to, remember, they're going to keep dumping the sewage. The sewage is going to continue. You don't want to play in it. You do not want to play in that sewage. So I'm going to leave you with that tonight, and I'll look forward to talking to you again in the near future. Thanks for providing this venue. I really felt like I needed to say something, do something today.
Well, I'm glad you were here. Not a problem. You're welcome just about any time. And nothing that I was going to say today can't wait till tomorrow anyway. So I appreciate you being on Damn Radio on Wednesday, which is, by the way, the best day in radio, because we have like 4 or 5 shows all day long, and everybody gets an opportunity. This is the big talk day. So I appreciate you being here. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And there he goes. See, I'm following the rules here. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. I wanted to, and I only have 10 minutes left. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tabs up is all. And then I have some summaries of what I did. The what do you call it? The speech that Lavrov gave at MGIMO was pretty important. And but you know what? I'm going to put it off a little bit, and we might get to it tomorrow. Looks like I've got, me and Matt just kind of spitballed all that. Thank you very much, Matthew, for joining. I'm glad to have him, as always. He has his own show on Sunday nights on Damn Radio. Goes from, is he at 6 o'clock? Or is he at, he's at 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. He's at 7 o'clock on Sunday nights, and he loads them all up to his Power of Truth network. You can do a search for that and find his link on Podbean. He's also on Podbean. Mine are all on internationalflavor.com, and you can listen to all of my old shows. I always upload them. And all of these will always be on damnradio.com /podcasts. So if you wish to go back and listen to any of these hilarious moments in the privacy of your own sitting room, you can do that at any time you feel like it, because the content is there, brothers and sisters. So I had a couple of things to go through, but since we only have about 10 minutes to go, I'm going to talk about, there's a recap. Have you noticed in America there have been 5 assassination attempts this year, or success in this case? The U.S. bears witness to an alarming trend of politically motivated violence and high-profile assassination attempts. The U.S. is entering a disturbing cycle of political violence. Here's a comprehensive list. Attack on Donald Trump on July 13. President Trump narrowly survived an attempt on his life during the rally in Butler. The attacker, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, fired multiple rounds, killed a rally attendee, injured several others, wounded Trump. He was killed by a counter-sniper team, returned fire. The incident was branded foreseeable and preventable by a U.S. Senate inquiry. 2 months later, September 15, Trump was the target of another attempt when a heavily armed pro-Ukrainian shooter was spotted outside the president's golf club in West Palm Beach. Suspect Ryan Ruth was apprehended by the Secret Service and has since chosen to represent himself in court and challenged Trump to a game of golf. The Minnesota House Speaker assassination. Melissa Hortman and her husband were shot dead at their home on June 14, 2025. Local Senator John Hoffman and his wife were wounded in a related attack the same night and barely survived. The suspect, Vance Belter, a 57-year-old with military experience and a past as a private contractor, was apprehended, taken into custody after a 2-day manhunt. They claim Belter planned and carried out the target assassination, had a list of some 70 other targets, a plot the likes of which has never been seen in Minnesota. Charlie Kirk in Utah, conservative commentator, a longtime supporter of Donald Trump. Charlie Kirk was assassinated today while delivering a speech at Utah Valley University. The right-wing, he's not a right-wing, the activist was shot in his neck and succumbed to his injuries at a hospital shortly after. Illinois violence on December 18, 2024. Right-wing influencer Nick Fuentes said a man armed with a pistol, a crossbow, and incendiary devices showed up at his house in Berwyn, Illinois, while he was live streaming. The individual turned out to be a triple homicide suspect who was shot and killed by police following a chase shortly after his encounter with Fuentes. These are nonsensical, dangerous, sad times. I don't know what justifies this sort. Well, nothing justifies this sort of behavior. I don't know. Elon Musk does. Here's what he said. He's called the party of. He's called. I'm tripping all over my tongue. Tripping. Musk calls the left the party of murder. Yes, tech billionaire Elon Musk accused the radical left of fostering a climate that encourages violence, calling it the party of murder following the fatal shooting. The 31-year-old activist and influencer, blah, 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 we know that. The left is the party of murder, Musk wrote in his post on X. Political commentator Mike Cernovich, I'm not sure if that's correct, replied, not only the left, it's people who fund them, like Soros, Gates, Reid Hoffman, some patsy boomer who was radicalized by agitprop is not who anyone smart considers responsible for what happened today. And Musk responded, exactly. Musk also endorsed another post claiming the left-wing mainstream media, as well as figures like Gavin Newsom, claiming that Trump plans to be a dictator, has created a climate of hysteria against right-wing figures that could radicalize any number of unstable people to engage in political violence. His remarks came as leading Democrats, including Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Hakeem Jeffries, and even Gavin Newsom, to issue statements condemning the attack and declare that political and gun violence have no place in America. This growing assassination culture among left-leaning Americans was highlighted in an April survey by the Network Contagion Research Institute, which found that 48% of left-of-center respondents said it would be somewhat justified to murder President Trump. Some 55% said the same thing about Musk. Earlier this year, radical activists targeted Tesla owners. Remember that? Kirk was the founder of Turning Point USA. Vice President Vance praised him for promoting civil political discourse, noting his events were one of the few places with open and honest dialogue between left and right. And I'm going to end on that note. I appreciate y'all joining me on Damn Radio, where here, especially here on International Flavor, where the truth just tastes better. Come back and enjoy that truth with me Sunday through Thursday from 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Or go to internationalflavor.com and download all the past versions, including this one, which will be up out there in about 20 minutes. I very much appreciate you, and I appreciate you, JR, for providing the Damn Radio platform. Have a good night.